What if the next time you cross a border, apply for a passport, or walk past a camera, you're actually stepping into a state-run tech experiment? Today, we're going to unpack a government blueprint most folks will skip, but that quietly rewrites how the state watches us, tracks us, analyzes us. It's the Home Office's new research, development and innovation strategy for 2530, and it claims to support a safer, fairer and more prosperous UK. But beneath the corporate innovation veneer lies a strong push for surveillance tech, algorithmic decision-making, identity profiling, and defense-style tools migrating into civil life. The mainstream media might treat this as progress, job creation, and British science power. I'm here to show you the red flags too, what it means for your privacy, your rights, and whether you're actually operating under a more automated, less transparent state. So let's begin.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
The strategy outlines 4 central ambitions: creating a culture of innovation, being challenge-led, being capability-driven, and collaborating widely, including across government, industry, and internationally. Moreover, it operates on a 5-year horizon and promises coordinated delivery of RDI, research, development, and innovation, across the whole Home Office ecosystem. On the face of it, that sounds reasonable. Investment in technology, research, better service. But when you apply this to the Home Office functions, borders, immigration, policing, national security, it starts raising questions. Which services are we talking about? Which research and innovation? And who gets left behind or monitored in the process? The big picture: the state is explicitly signaling that tech and innovation are not extras, they are central to how it will operate moving forward. So what's the tech and surveillance in plain sight? In its forward, the Home Office boasts of algorithms that help deliver DNA profiles to police in 10 seconds, over 1,000 times faster than manually. Integrated surveillance technology for tackling dangerous crossings in the English Channel. And these snippets matter. They show how tools originally designed for extreme context, DNA border crossings, are already being turned into mainstream operations. When you have DNA profiling in seconds, surveillance systems monitoring border crossings, and the language of horizon scanning, prediction preparation used in the strategy, you begin to see the state preparing for a world where tech doesn't just assist, it foresees.
I'm placing you under arrest for the future murder of Sarah Marks.
Give the man his head.
And if we accept that, we should ask, who is being scanned? Which data is being used? What recourse exists if the algorithm misclassifies, misjudges, or mistargets? Because we've got dual use and defense tech moving in. One of the most subtle but important lines, the strategy says the Home Office aims to stimulate investment in innovative dual-use technologies from the UK's national security defence sector to meet its operational and policy goals. Dual use means tech developed for defence, military, that also works for civilian purposes. Because when military tech migrates into civil policing, immigration or border control, the boundary between external security and internal surveillance blurs. That means the tools used for foreign threats might be repurposed against citizens or visitors. And what we're seeing here is a shift. State security logic entering everyday governance logic. For you and me, that suggests a creep of militarized tech into routine civic interaction, possibly without clear legal oversight or the public's full awareness. And that then breeds automation, algorithms, and decision science. You see, the strategy is clear. The Home Office will build capabilities, access expertise, and pull through research, development, and innovation for maximum impact. That means algorithms, data science, automated systems are front and center, while the strategy emphasizes evidence-led and system thinking. The risk is that human judgment is reduced, decisions become closed systems, and oversight becomes weaker. For instance, automated DNA profiling. If a system matches or excludes you in seconds, how transparent is that process? What if the algorithm is biased or wrong? The strategy speaks of challenge-led RDI focused on priority policing and operational challenges. Well, operational challenges often translate to border control, immigration enforcement, or crime prevention, all contexts where lives, liberty, and rights are at stake. When the state automates those processes, the balance of power completely shifts. And the big one is immigration and border power structures. You see, a major theme in the strategy is borders, asylum and migration. The document cites border security and asylum transformation as key areas to harness RDI. When you combine that with dual-use tech and faster data processing, you actually get a border regime that is more automated, more intrusive, and less human-centered. Consider digital identity verification, biometrics, drones, sensors at borders. All of this could be accelerated under this strategy, yet the strategy provides scant detail on how individuals will appeal, how transparency will work, and how bias will be checked. And once the surveillance or enforcement technology is accepted at the border, the risk is it migrates elsewhere, for example, into policing or immigration, checks in cities. The public rarely hears about these systemic linkages. Then we have to talk about the partnerships, private tech, and the ecosystem risks. You see, the document emphasizes collaboration. Working across government with industry, international partners is key. That means private tech firms, academic labs, defense contractors will be deeply involved. While collaboration can bring innovation, it also brings opacity. Proprietary algorithms, commercial interests, government contracts. How much of the logic behind automated decisions will remain secret? Who audits the suppliers? The strategy doesn't provide full clarity. When the state outsources critical systems, biometrics, AI decision-making, border surveillance, accountability matters. But the public debate remains shallow. You need to ask, if my data is filtered through a private firm's algorithm under contract to the Home Office, do I have the same rights as if the state processed it in-house? How do we control mission creep? Then we need to talk about the speed of innovation versus oversight. You see, the pace is emphasized repeatedly. The pace of technological change requires us to challenge ourselves to look ahead and adapt. 5-year horizon, rapid deployment. We're into horizon scanning, prediction, preparation. The red flag is speed with less public debate. When deployment outruns oversight, systems go live without full scrutiny. Law lags, rights may be compromised, and the strategy says it will report progress publicly. But reporting is not the same as independent audit, transparent evaluation, clear redress mechanisms. If a system incorrectly identifies someone, overrides a human decision, or gives a false positive, will there be a path to remedy? The strategy documents ambitious technology acquisition and system-wide change. We ought to ask whether sufficient guardrails are being put alongside or in place at all. Now, that's a lot of wordage there. And why does this matter to you? Let's bring this right home. You might think this strategy is about borders, high tech, and stuff far away, but its implications are for everyday life. Your biometric data, your digital identity, how the state treats you at the airports, borders, immigration offices, possibly even your domestic interactions with law enforcement could be influenced by these systems. The move toward algorithmic decision-making means less human oversight and more black box logic. The crossover of defense tech into everyday governance raises concerns about how security becomes the default, and the speed of deployment combined with private sector partnerships means you may end up being part of a system you neither fully control nor fully understand. If you care about civil liberties, transparency, fairness, then this strategy is a document to watch, challenge, interrogate. Because once these systems are built and accepted, rolling back is much harder than saying no before they go live. I know, it's a lot to take in, but there it is, a blueprint from the Home Office that signals more than just modernization. It signals a complete shift in how the state intends to operate. Faster, data-driven, tech-enabled, less prone to human oversight, and more reliant on private actors. The red flags were uncovered. Automated DNA and surveillance, dual-use tech, migrating into civil realms, private industry partnerships with minimal transparency, rapid-fire deployment of systems the public isn't even fully ready for. The mainstream media might say innovation for a safer UK. I say, ask who is being safe, who is being surveilled, and who gets to ask for accountability. Stay alert, stay independent, and if you found this revealing, please subscribe, hit the like button, and share, because we've got to keep this conversation going. We see too many people shouting about reject digital ID. Unfortunately, and I hate to break it to you or them, but they haven't got a clue what they're talking about, because the legislation, the bills, the policy, the infrastructure, and the sheer research they have done on this for the last 10 to 20 years is a little bit more than a UI on a phone. It's the complete state control of everybody.